Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Fleric.
This is Mac.
And this is our midway episode for the Natsu Basho. We have just finished up day 8. So if you're not caught up with day 8 just yet, watch that and then come back and listen to the rest of this episode. Before we get too much further, we want to thank everybody who has signed up for our Patreon already. I think it's already gotten more of a response than we ever really thought it would. We've already got 20 plus people that have signed up for that. So thank you so very much. Once again,
Give yourselves a round of applause. Bravo.
Yes, you're all amazing people, and look forward to more compliments like that, but more specific to you later on in the episode. So that's going to help us greatly. That'll pay off everything for hosting the podcast for the entire year. It'll be able to pay off having a Zoom account so that we can continue to record these episodes with a camera for all of us.
Hopefully in a improved way as time goes
Yes.
on.
Yeah,
we are currently researching that.
Slightly less slapped together, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we still have more money that we'll be able to use after that. So I know Jake probably has some ideas for some better equipment that we can use for the podcast to improve it. Probably do some stuff that we can do for merch and probably give back a little bit to the fans on that front.
Yeah, we're also we're getting to the point where we need to figure out how the hell to record in person again, because we have not had to worry about that in more than a year. So yeah, maybe fixing up our local gear so we can do that in person again will be good.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so thank you everybody, and as we said, everybody that donates to the Patreon will get a personalized compliment for us. So let's start off with our first batch of compliments for our patrons.
Hey, real quick, because we did have such a good response to this, the Takayasu teacup of sumo stuff is too small.
Yeah.
So we had to write these down in advance just to make sure that we had enough room. The bolo compliments is more of a cauldron at this point, I think.
Yes.
And we are so happy it is.
The Takakesha cauldron of compliments and petty cash and punishments. All right, I guess I'll start off with the first one, which is the first one. Dick, my brother, my East Coast Dick. And so, Dick, I wanted to let you know the lucky cats are all waving at you. So, props to you.
And next we have Heather. Heather, your karaoke skills are far superior to the GSP boys. Honestly, that one's kind of a weak one. That's a low bar.
Yeah.
But
Very low
Heather.
bar to cross. Josh Schaff, you are more beautiful than all of the GSP dogs combined. More beautiful than Piper, more beautiful than Bubbles, more beautiful than Daisy.
That is high praise there. And to Radish Cat, if people thought Enho was adorable, just wait until they see you.
We got an attractive group of patrons. I can tell you that right now.
Indeed.
All right. So let's dive right into the sumo with our Yusho race. And sitting alone at the top at 8-0 is Ozeki Tarano Fuji. And he has been displaying some very strong, very angry sumo this basho. You're better off just going down in the middle of the ring, because if you get within like a foot of the Tawara, he's going to throw you off of the doyo this tournament. He has been incredibly dominant. He's already fought one of the Komosubi, or both of the Komosubi, and a Sekiwake. So he only has 4 more Sanyaku matches to go. So the other 3 Rikishi that he's going to face will all be ranked M4 or lower. But coming up on day 9, he does face Takayasu. Overall, he is 7-12 against Takayasu, including losing 9 out of his last 10 against him, and all 4 of his matches against Takayasu since he's made his return from injury. So that'll be a very tough matchup for Tarano Fuji tomorrow. But what are your guys' overall thoughts on Tarano Fuji so far this basho?
Takayasu is going to break him.
I
I'm sorry,
think
Takayasu lost to Hokuto Fuji, who was winless.
That poor bastard Tarano Fuji's days are numbered, and that number is, I guess, 1 now.
And then he'll probably win the other matches. And go
Well,
back to
yeah,
the one.
that's very possible too.
Yeah, he looks very angry. Is very accurate. No, but he looks really good. Like he's coming off the Ozeki. Like he's has something to prove. Like he says, I want to become a Yokozuna, and he's kind of looking like one so far. It's very convincing. I like it.
Honestly, I think this goes back to what we said on the preview. This is his to lose. I mean, he's looking fantastic, and there's only one current Ozeki that I would say could play spoiler to that, but we'll get to that later. But no, I think this is Tarano Fuji's to lose.
Yeah, I totally agree. I have in my notes that he actually kind of looks like a Yokozuna, like in the sense that he is never out of control. He's never like on the back foot, and even if somebody pushes him back for just a second, he's able to adjust immediately and take care of it from there. And yeah, he's definitely got that big Hakuho energy of like, we're close to the edge, the match is already over, screw it, I'm just pushing you anyways. And the knees seem to be holding up okay. We haven't seen him like wince or anything. He even jumped off the dohyo today and was like, acted completely normal.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah. I remember reading a note that apparently last basho he injured his knee in some kind of way, but he soldiered on, and that doesn't seem to be affecting him this basho. So he's he has that figured out, at least in the short term.
Yeah, his Oyakata, Isegahama Oyakata, had said, I think it was after we had recorded our preview episode, but like Tarano Fuji, his knees were bothering him coming into this basho. But I mean, if he's going to enter, he has to perform Ozeki Sumo. And I mean, Tarano Fuji has been doing just that. So
no, he's been failing that. He's been doing Yokozuna Sumo. What a failure.
And there was also like the video of him when he was like getting the Ozeki promotion at that ceremony, just like as he had to get down on his knees and bow to accept the promotion, just looked so painful for him. So he has some sort of incredible mental block, where as he steps on the dohyo, apparently his knees just don't exist in his mind anymore. But yeah, as Max said, there is one person right behind him that might be able to provide a little bit of resistance as we get deep into the second week, and that is Ozeki Takakesho. He is 7-1. He has started off 7-1 3 previous times in his career, and he's won 2 Yusho in those 3 basho. So a pretty good ratio for Takakesho there. He's been looking fantastic as well. Just one slip up against Mitaki Yumi on day 2, but ever since then he's rattled off 6 straight wins. So what are you guys thinking about Takakesho this basho?
Well, we've already seen it where these two tie at the end and Takakesho takes it.
Right.
So that's 100% of the time that these two are in the Yusho race together. No, I think that could very well that there's a more than nothing chance that exact situation plays out again. That'd be pretty cool. I guess for me, what I like the most about it is the Ozeki are the ones leading the way here.
Yes.
Well, half of them, I guess. But
okay, fine.
yeah, but it's almost weird to me that no Maegashira has more than 6 wins. That at this point there's always that one dude who it's like, I guess whatever, Okinoumi or somebody is like in the Yusho race, but nobody actually believes in him, kind of a situation. But yeah, no, I like that. I like that the Ozeki are in the lead, and it's 2 guys that have won tournaments before and probably will win more tournaments in the future, both of them.
Yeah, this is having the 2 like kind of front runners, both guys that we expect to be making Yokozuna promotions sooner or later. Having them as the leaders just makes it more exciting for me going down the line, because you have 2 guys who are being very dominant in their sumo right now, and both of them, a win in this basho means a whole lot for their career, because it could pole vault them into a Yokozuna promotion if they're able to follow it up properly. So having such high stakes with the 2 people that are leading the tournament so far is just just fantastic and makes it more exciting to me that they are the top two guys, basically. I mean, you have Asanoyama and Shoudai, who are technically ranked ahead of Tarano Fuji, but for all intents and purposes, they're the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
So having the top two guys being the top two guys and having not seen that in who knows how long is just really nice, and I could get used to it, I feel like.
This is the way. This should be the way.
Sorry to interrupt, Fleric. Yeah, it really feels like the Nokozuna era may be closing, and we may see the guys that are going to be, and ending that era officially.
Yeah, and the one kind of cool thing about this happening is normally the sumo schedule is kind of set up to hype towards these moments that these are the people who are going to be leading, because going into the last couple of days, that's when Takakesha and Tarano Fuji are going to go head to head against each other. There's also going to be some other people we're going to talk about later who will probably give good matches to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm looking at Takayasu, and did Takayumi go against Tarano Fuji yet?
I think so. I
Yes.
believe he's beaten.
Okay, so mostly kind of looking at Takayasu there. So yeah, definitely it's when this kind of works out.
He
kind of goes.
Yeah, he lost to him. Sorry, Fleric.
Yeah, the hype is kind of growing up to the last couple of days, which is pretty nice.
Takayasu has yet to face any of the Ozeki. Not like Tarano Fuji's tomorrow, but all three of the other guys also have to face his wrath. So again, those poor bastards.
All right.
But Takakesha is looking really good to kind of bring it back to that point. He seems like he's just kind of, people just can't get past the bar of like, I don't know, it seems like he's winning easily. Because like Takakesha, he has a very, very straightforward style, as we all know, and like he's gonna push you, and if it doesn't work, he's gonna pull, and that's gonna work. And every single person he goes against is kind of falling to that. So except from Takayumi, who's looking really good. But yeah, it's Takakesha is looking pretty solid.
Last point I had on Takakesha is he has faced, other than Mitakayumi, he's only faced Maegashira. So Tarano Fuji does have a slight edge in strength of schedule coming up here, because Takakesha has more Sanyaku matches left to go. Looks like tomorrow, day 9, he's got Daisho to start that off.
And I think they have a fairly even head-to-head record for the most part. So that's no gimme for Takakesha, but Daisho's been struggling a little bit this show.
It's 8-5 in favor of Takakesha, but that's still a lot more even than most of his matchups.
Yeah. All right, and so behind our two leaders, we have a group of 7 Rikishi that are at 6-2. We have the aforementioned Takayasu. So Fleric, we have talked about him. Do you think he is a real contender to actually making some noise in the Yusho race and potentially coming away for this, or do you think he is a pretender?
I think he definitely has a case to being a contender. He's been looking really good this basho. He's dropped like a couple weird ones. I'm pulling up his thing.
He's dropped to Wakataka Kage and
Hokuto Fuji. That's the weird one.
That's the weird one.
That's the weird one.
Kage is no longer a weird loss for these guys, which is amazing.
I'd agree. Like that's like another point. Like Wakataka Kage has been looking great, but on Takayasu, he's also been like, this is like shades of his Ozeki time. Like he's just looking strong. He's like just kind of winning. He's been looking really good. I could see him giving very good matches. I think Jake just mentioned that he has a really good head-to-head recently against, maybe overall, but also recently against Tarano Fuji.
Oh yeah,
which is
he's been
very impressive.
Tarano Fuji recently.
Because I like I said, we think he's probably the strongest. He's the probably the best Rikishi on the dohyo at the moment, and so it's I think he can definitely shake up the Yusho race. Maybe if stuff kind of goes where stuff goes right, where the right people lose and he doesn't, he might get a playoff win to win the whole entire thing. I think he has a chance. He's looking really good.
The only Ozeki that has a winning record over Takayasu is Shoudai.
Oh. Sorry, but
obviously.
What's Asanoyama's head-to-head with Takayasu?
I'll bring it back up. They are at 2-2 technically, but 2-1 in the ring in favor of Takayasu. Yep.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
And I guess as long as we're bringing it up, let me find Takakesha again. Why is this so hard for me? There he is, 7-6 in favor of Takayasu.
Okay, so
Okay.
they're
None of these are
fairly even.
like blowouts, but
Yeah.
like they're still in favor of Takayasu, except for his 8-12 against Shoudai.
That's so weird.
Yes, it is.
I don't think Takayasu is going to play a part in the Yusho race, just because of his history of, like I said before, he's never had more than 12 wins in a tournament, and I think thankfully this Basho, it's 12 wins isn't going to cut it like it did the last tournament, and we saw just the previous Basho where Takayasu was the leader when we were doing the Midway recap for Haru. He was looking great then, and then we saw what happened in week 2 once he went up against that tougher schedule.
Oh, thanks. I'd forgotten.
Wasn't trying to dig that knife in any deeper, but if it did go in a little bit deeper, I'll take that as a win.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna like say, oh darn,
Yeah.
that's.
So I just think there's too much history of Takayasu not being able to pull it off in the big moments, and that we'll see him go down against Tarano Fuji tomorrow and just kind of eliminate himself from the Yusho race.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think there is some history there, but I would say that he has a chance. I won't
Oh,
say
yeah.
he's likely.
Oh yeah, totally.
I won't say he's likely, but I think he has a chance.
Based on
Way
their
he's
head-to-head
going right now.
matchup, I'd say Takayasu probably, besides Takakesho, has the next highest chance of knocking off Tarano Fuji this tournament. Maybe Onosho. So Onosho's kind of had Tarano Fuji's number recently.
Yeah.
And I think
Okay.
they might have to go down to Maegashira 6 for Tarano Fuji's remaining Maegashira matchups, because he's already fought all the Maegashira 1 and 2. Both Maegashira 3 are gone. He's fought Hoshoryu at Maegashira 5. So maybe he only has to face Maegashira 4 and 5s, and he avoids Onosho.
Yeah. Did you see Onosho's match against Ichinojo?
Oh yeah.
That probably is one of the worst plans going into a match I ever saw. Onosho says, okay, I'm going against Ichinojo. He's much, much bigger than me. How am I going to take him down? I know. I'll go straight at him, Tachi-ai. And then
That's
he
Onosho's style.
That is Onosho, to be fair.
yeah, and then Ichinojo is just going to push me down because I'm way too overextended.
Yeah.
One of the
I don't
weirdest things I've ever seen on Sumo DB here is I looked up Onosho versus Tarano Fuji. In January, Onosho beat Tarano Fuji by Yori Kiri.
What?
Onosho doesn't use the belt.
Yeah, it's very
That doesn't
strange to
seem
me.
right.
I
I
kind of
call
want to go back
shenanigans.
now and take a
Yeah.
look at that one. But yeah, so looks like they've matched up all 4 of the most recent Basho, and Onosho only lost in November.
And a correction, Onosho is Maegashira 5. So if Tarano Fuji's remaining Maegashira matchups go against the 3 highest remaining Maegashira, Onosho will be one of them. So that could be another stumbling block for Tarano Fuji there. But the way he's going this Basho, I kind of doubt it.
Mm.
And then at Komosubi, we have 6-2 Mitakeyumi. I mean, it's been a while since he's shown up to a Basho, so it's that like 1 or 2 a year where he'll get 10 plus maybe. Mac, do you think Mitakeyumi has any real chance to make some noise in this tournament?
I honestly think he's a contender. He's faced some, if not all, of his toughest matches, in my opinion. I think Wakataka Kage tomorrow is going to be a good test to see which kind of Mitakeyumi we're going to get. Are we going to get the finish strong or the peter out type of Mitakeyumi that we've seen in the past? One of his potential matches coming up is going to be Asanoyama. Doesn't look so good this tournament, so that could be hit or miss. But now we have to take into account Hokuto Fuji, because Hokuto Fuji is doing Hokuto Fuji things, where now he's got his 6 losses, and now he's going to go on a tear and completely upset the established order. But
I
we
did
can't
just
count...
look up the weather on Mitakeyumi. It's low 70s the rest of the week, so I don't think he's. I don't know. That
the
might be too
Escanor
cold
effect
for him.
But no, I mean, he's won a Yusho in the past too, so you can't count him out.
I mean, Mitakeyumi's good for about 1 11+ win tournament per year. Going back to that holds all the way to 2015. 2015 is the only year where he had 2 11+ tournaments. And then every year after that, he's had 1 11+ win tournament. And so he needs to have one yet in 2021. So it could be this Basho. But yeah, like you see, Mac, it's pretty much a coin flip at this point. Is he going to end 8-7, or is he going to end 11-4, 12-3?
Exactly.
We give this guy a lot of crap, but he's got a shockingly impressive career.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. No. No
He-
disrespect to him.
Yeah, I mean, like, yes, he's kind of like the waffly, like, middling guy in the top 10 of the whole world. But he got to that top 10 of the whole world like 4 years ago, only like 2 years into his career as a whole, and has been there ever since. Like, he hasn't been lower than Maegashira 2
3.
since 2016 in the summer. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So intensely consistent, super impressive. But at the same time, yeah, he does definitely feel destined to be in this like top 8 to 10 range for the rest of time.
But because he wins one 11+ tournament, 11+ wins,
There you go. Fact, Ryan.
Facts.
because he does win 11 matches at least once per year, and he's at this level, we have to talk about a Mitake Yumi Ozeki run at least once per year, and it never happens, and so he's just annoying. Yes, he's very good, but he's very annoying.
It's like the Shoudai effect with him.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's very good, but where's the consistency?
All right, and then we have 5 other Rikishi that are at 6-2. The aforementioned Onosho and Ichinojo. You have Maegashira 8 West Endo, Maegashira 12 West Okinoumi, and Maegashira 14 West Chiyo Tairyu. So, Jake, of our Maegashira that are sitting at 6-2, who do you think is going to finish with the best record?
Well, as I brought up before, at this point, we generally have a 7-1 or an 8-0 Maegashira who's like, oh, could this be the time? And like, I'm not going to say it never is, because to be fair, the last 2 years that happens all the time, that guy still gets the Yusho.
I mean, it was
But-
Daisho back in January.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It seems like it could be none of these guys even get to 10, or it could be the case that Endo gets a Yusho. You know, like I think it is. The parity is insane down in the Maegashira ranks this time around. You know, everybody except for Tarano Fuji and Takakesho is like feels ranked kind of where they should be, you know. So I don't know. I'm not gonna like put much stock into it, but I do think that Onosho is looking pretty good. I think I'll stick with him. Just before his knee injury a couple years ago, he did look like he could be that next prodigy. So I'm hoping that if he's fully healthy, he could be another like eventual Sanyaku mainstay or something.
Yeah, Onosho is going to be my pick for that as well, because I mean, we've seen it too much with like Ichinojo. He's another guy that can get off to a fast start and then just fall apart in the second week. Endo is another incredibly inconsistent guy that I think we could easily see string together a bunch of losses in the second week. And then Okinoumi and Chiyo Tairyu, they're ranked that low for a reason, and so it's hard to predict them to be consistent enough to get the most wins. And Onosho is back and forth kind of guy where he does really good and then really bad. He did really bad last time, so stands to reason that he's going to do really good this time.
Yeah, I think Okinoumi and Chiyo Tairyu, just because they're ranked that low, at 6-2 is just a statistical anomaly. It means nothing to me now that I'm thinking about it. Like,
Yeah.
If you just throw enough darts at dartboards, you'll get 6-2 or something. You know, maybe give it like 3 more days, and then we'll see if any of these are even remotely believable as contenders here.
Yeah. But you guys are thinking well of Onosho, but I'm telling you, look at that match. You should not use
Ichinojo
one
match
match
is
to
just
define a
screwed
Rikishi, but that was just such a bad plan going into a match. It's kind of,
Well, and Onosho's other
Tough.
loss
I
was
literally
to Waka Takakage. But sorry, go finish your
no, I
point.
was gonna say I literally have a note in my thing after that one. Onosho's a bit dumb. He
Little
just
bit of
charged
Kodo
right into
Shogaku in him.
Ichinojo, assuming that he'd win. I don't know.
He's got a bit of Kodo Shogaku in him in that kind of
Ooh.
way. But his other loss was against Waka Takakage, and Waka Takakage kind of played it perfectly. He played like a soft Tachi. Basically, he just like received Onosho, immediately backed up, and then dropped Onosho to the ground, because you know what Onosho is going to do.
Mhm.
All right. So those are everybody that is in the U-Show race. Highly unlikely that anybody we didn't mention is going to win the U-Show. In fact, they won't. That's not going to happen.
You've cursed them, Ryan.
This is not going to be a 12-win U-Show. So, no, it's not happening.
Well, I mean, we said he looks fine this time around, but in the back of our minds, we all know Tarano Fuji could drop out tomorrow. You know?
Exactly.
So
He
I
could.
don't know.
He got his 8. You know,
he
But-
got his 8. He's good.
I think with just how good Tarano Fuji and Takakesho are both looking, I don't
Yeah.
think both of them finish with more than 2 losses. One of them could. I don't think both of them do.
If somebody was, for instance, like at a 2-match lead at this point in the tournament, like and there's no way they could possibly blow it ever.
Takayasu blowing it was the most predictable thing ever.
I'm never gonna get over it though. It hurts so
All right.
bad.
Let's move on to the other Ozeki. We'll start off with Shoudai. He is currently 5-3. He's been winning with a little bit of cartoon sumo. Got a bit of luck in his match against Daisha, where they both hopped out of the ring at the exact same time. But
that was beautiful.
Daisha was just by the slimmest of margin out before Shoudai. And he's also been just completely embarrassed by others. His match against Miyogiryu was awful, where Miyogiryu just ran into him and walked him right out of the ring. Like, that shouldn't happen to an Ozeki whatsoever. So he still has a 5-3 winning record. He still has to face both Sekiwake and all 3 Ozeki. So that is 5 remaining tough matches. So Mac, has Shoudai done enough to show you in this first week to make you believe that he will get 8 wins this Basho and be an Ozeki come July?
No. I was gonna leave it at that.
Wow.
No. So his hardest matches are still to come, in my opinion. Hoshoryu just beat Asanoyama, which I think is telling of Hoshoryu's skill. It's one of those where he just played the spoiler in that case. If you factor that with, I would still put Asanoyama a little bit ahead of Shoudai, then Takakesho, Tarano Fuji, if he stays healthy. Right there, that's 4. So if you factor that in, that's potentially 7 losses. I'm not saying he's not going to drop something else. I don't think he's got it for this one.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just the people that are ranked ahead or near Shoudai. He's dropped to Wakataka Kage, and as I said, Miyogiryu. So it stands to reason he could lose to another Maegashira in there as well. But I mean, he can also beat some of those Ozeki. But yeah, we'll see.
yeah.
I think
I'm
it's,
not convinced.
it's equally likely he just goes 7-0 in the second week.
Also true. Also true.
That's true. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of weird, being the one kind to defend Shoudai.
Wait,
But
what?
I don't know. Me watching him this week, like, he kind of came in saying that, Kataban Ozeki are strong, and going 5-3 in the start, like, I think it's kind of proving that that is the case. Like, I thought he's been looking relatively pretty good. Like you said, you dropped to Wakataka Kage, but Wakataka Kage has been really impressing me this Basho.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's had some really, really good matches. He had some really good upsets. He had some not go his way, so he's not in the Yusha race, but I think he's doing very, very well. And like, other one he dropped to is Mitakayumi. Mitakayumi's also, I think, on fire. I don't remember the Miyogiryu.
Absolutely
match.
embarrassing.
That one might not have been too bad, but he's 5-3, and like, we have 7 more matches, and he just needs to win 3. I don't know. I think he's looking pretty relatively strong. He's impressed me these first 8 days.
I would argue that a 5-3 record for an Ozeki in the first week and a 5-3 record for a Maegashira 1 in the first week are very different in terms of how impressive they are when we're comparing Wakataka Kage and Shoudai. Like, 5-3, yeah, it's a good record, but he has still dropped to all the losses that he had are to people that are below him, whereas Wakataka Kage, most of his wins are people that are above him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but not comparing to rank, but comparing to how they're performing. I thought it was like people like Wakataka Kage is Sanyaku performance, in my opinion. This Basho.
I agree. I think Wakataka Kage, his on doyo performance has been better than Shoudai. Same record, but I think Wakataka Kage has looked better than Shoudai this Basho. I have not. He's had a couple of good dominating matches, but then you have those 3 losses and then a couple where it's Shoudai, so he just does some crazy magic and wins them. So I don't know. I haven't been overly impressed. I think he'll probably pull out at least 8 wins still, but I haven't been overly impressed with Shoudai. I think he's probably like a 9-6 this Basho.
9-6 is pretty good.
He's an Ozeki.
He's an
That's not good
Ozeki
enough.
cleric.
Yeah. Okay. So the yoke is. I won't go down this rabbit hole. That's fair. That's okay.
9-6 is pretty good.
That's okay. 9-6 is pretty good. Yeah. Okay. So the yoke is. I won't go down this rabbit hole. That's fair. That's okay. 9-6 is pretty good. Yeah. Okay. So the yoke is. I won't go down this rabbit hole. That's fair.
No, let's go down. Let's do it. I'm curious.
I was gonna say that like 9-6, I think is fine for an Ozeki. Was Yokozuna catch Koshi is 10, but we're expecting Ozeki to be the same. I don't know.
There's an argument to go down there.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be disappointed with a 9-6 from him. I'm expecting him to be. I think, in my opinion, it's pretty likely he'll be one of the 7-7s on the last day, and need to beat somebody for that. I think that's kind of where Shoudai feels like he's headed to me.
Asanoyama Shoudai 7-7.
Yeah, something like that.
Ooh.
All right, so let's talk about
If
it.
Asanoyama can even get to 7.
Yeah, I do have a question for Asanoyama directly.
Directly.
What you doing?
Let's bring him out.
Yeah,
And
He's right here.
And welcome.
Friend of
But
the
yeah.
show.
What are you doing, Asanoyama? Like, you're 4-4. I don't think we've ever seen him look this bad in the first week of a tournament. I mean, because this is as an Ozeki, because this is a guy that we talk about. Like, yeah, we kind of rag on him a little bit for not being as good as we probably think he should be, but he still always gets to 10 wins, and he's already sitting at 4-4. If he wants to get there, he can only drop one more, and we know that's going to be Tarano Fuji, so he has to beat everybody else.
Right. Yeah, the last time that he finished a tournament with less than 10 wins is all the way back in mid-2019.
Wow.
Like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
he's
very
on
good thought.
he's on like a nearly 2-year tear of double digits, except for that one time that he was
Takakesho.
injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, he pulled out on day 2. After winning his first match, then he pulled out. But still, like, that's something is very up. And I think what's most likely is that he knew that I picked him in our prediction series. Because I can't think of any.
Yeah, I did send him a little missive about that, saying like, Jake picked you
Hey.
this time.
If you're gonna take a tournament
FYI.
off, buddy.
Fleric is, as we all know, Fleric is the awesome Yamaka whisperer. He's got his number in his phone, and so if anybody ever needs to get a message across to Asanoyama, just let Fleric know.
Yes.
I would
I will
like to
send
pass
message
along
via-
a message, please.
Yes. Well, my carrier pigeon's getting back tomorrow, so we can. I'll go tie a message to its leg and send it out.
Should get there after day 15. So
Yes.
Yep.
That
When?
might be too late for me.
Huh.
Well, if only there was some technology to make it go faster.
It's a
Strapping
cross
rockets to
ocean.
the
I don't
pigeon.
know what we can do.
Yeah.
We're strapping rockets to a pigeon, is what you're saying now.
Let's make it happen.
Yeah. Do want to point out his loss today to Hoshoryu. I just mostly because I'm happy Hoshoryu got a win over Ozeki. And it
Yes.
was doing very Hoshoryu things with the Uchigake inside leg trip.
Beautiful.
Mac and I were discussing a little bit before we hit the record button that Asanoyama, apparently his weakness is his legs. If you like go for the leg pick, if you go for a trip, that's just Asanoyama can't defend it, and he's going to go down to it every time, especially if you're ranked Maikashira.
Exactly. I was like, props to Teru Tsuyoshi for discovering his kryptonite. Bravo, sir.
More people just need to exclusively attack Asanoyama's legs, and
Yes.
he'll be toast. All right, and then we've only got 2. This is nice. We've only got 2 other people in the Sanyaku ranks we haven't talked about. Everybody else has a decent record, with the exception of Asanoyama. But Takanosho and Daisho are both 3-5. Takanosho has fought both of the Komosubi and Tarano Fuji. Daisho has fought 3 Ozeki, both Sekiwake, and the other Komosubi. So, Jake, do you think either of these guys will rally in the second week to keep their rank?
I guarantee both of them will end up with exactly 8 wins and stay where they're at, and we will have to have the same discussion for yet another Basho in a row. I think that I know that Daisho has the better history since he's gotten his Yusho and such, but I think Takanosho is the guy that's more likely to stick around long term. Daisho seems way too volatile. But yeah, for this particular Basho, neither one has like been memorable really at all to me in their matches. They're just kind of farting along, barely able to stay even. Like, I don't know. They've both disappointed me so far. If I was more interested in them, maybe I would care more, but like I'm not.
Takakesha's kind of grown on me. That's I'm just letting you guys know. Like,
There's nothing wrong with that, Fleric.
I'm
It's,
kind of
uh,
confused why Ryan put my name on this topic, because these are like the only two guys in the Sanyaku that I'm not like a huge fan of.
I
So-
don't
Why he
put
put
a
your name
whole
on
lot
it.
of thought behind who I'm directing the question at.
It was just my name in the rotation or something.
Yeah,
But no,
you're
like
just starting
everybody
the conversation. So.
other than Asanoyama doing poorly, this is like my absolute ideal Sanyaku for what we got here. So like, I don't really. These two guys only are like, all right, cool. They're at 3 and 5. That means there's more wins to be soaked up by the guys that I like and that I care about.
All right. Any other guys that we haven't brought up that people want to give a shout out to for their first week performance? We've brought him up a couple of times, but I'm going to say Hokuto Fuji. He started off 0-6, but as we all know, the more losses that Hokuto Fuji piles up, especially in the first week, just makes him stronger and stronger as the tournament goes on. And I am almost ready to guarantee you Hokuto Fuji ends with a winning record this basho.
Almost.
Make me an offer and we'll see.
I will
35
say
points in the
Yeah,
prediction
points on
series.
the line.
yeah, 35. Yeah, I will say I wasn't gonna say he changed his Mawashi color. He's looking very stylish.
Ooh.
But we also know how that kind of changes everything when it goes to with sumo like trends and such. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
I
see.
was never a huge fan of the silver Mawashi for Hokuto Fuji.
That's all he wore though for years.
Yeah.
I know, but it's just like so like dull. It's not like a nice big bright flash of color, which is what I would prefer to see on Rickshaw. So I do like the change in the belt.
He kind of seems like a guy who needs a flashy color.
Mhm.
Teruto Yoshi's another guy that seems to me like he should have a flashy color, but he doesn't.
And Teruto Yoshi is just black, isn't he?
Yeah, his is
so.
just a black.
But yeah, so Hokuto Fuji, he's lost to all of the Ozeki, and then he's beaten Takayasu. He's got Takanosho left. He's got the Komosubi left, but nobody left on his schedule that you're really afraid of. Well, I guess actually probably Mitaki Yumi right now, unless he starts sliding. And Wakataka Kage, we all know that he's a Sanyaku mainstay for the rest of his career. So
We'll
as well-
see. We
might
will
as well
see.
call him Yokozuna already. So
Ooh.
I might temper my expectations for Hokuto Fuji, but I will say he's not going to finish with double-digit losses.
The other person I wanted to bring up was Hide no Umi. He started off pretty well, and I was kind of concerned at the beginning. Maybe he was concentrating a little bit too much on sumo and not enough on
babes.
Not enough on
babes.
Yeah.
But then in the last 4 days, like he's proven that okay, no, he's balancing these two.
Yeah.
So he has a 4-4 record. So like I think he's once again has his priorities on sumo.
Yeah, you got to
and this
take
is
sumo
super-
in moderation.
Yes. Yes.
You need to have your babes and your sumo in your life and be able to balance those two.
Mm.
I don't know if we mentioned that quote on the podcast. Have
We
yet?
did.
Oh yeah, we did. We did.
When I picked him to be my chump, and then he started off like with friggin'
You
4 wins in a row or
fool.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fool. Didn't you? He told you like what his priorities were.
He's not
How
that
could
into
you
people.
go against that man?
Well,
He
I
likes
didn't know the
sumo
quote
and
when I
babes.
picked him. Okay.
One that I'd like to bring up is we have Ura signed. I was so happy to see him go against Kaisei today.
And he picked up the win. And Ura is the sole leader in Juryo at 7-1 this basho. So, I mean, he needs one win pretty much, and that'll probably get him into Makauchi.
He's
the
coming
next
back. He's
basho.
coming back.
Yeah, he's been looking really good. He's been on all of Kitamiyama's recaps. He's been making sure to include those.
Yeah.
His match against Enho, he did not Okinomi, but Tamawashi's level of elbow destruction to Enho.
Yes, he did.
Ah, yeah.
So that was kind of sad. But Enho has been looking really good with those weird wins at the Tawara and such.
Enho's
He
1 and
doesn't
7.
change.
Or did you?
I
mean
meant Ura. I
Okay.
misspoke.
He also loves Enho too. That's okay.
Yes,
Mhm.
but
We miss
Enho
him
has
too.
not.
Enho's
been
broken
looking
though.
good. Yeah.
Poor
Enho
guy.
is broken.
I
about you,
wanted to
Jake?
bring up. It has been a rough basho for small boy fans. Like even on day 0, Midori Fuji pulls out.
Yeah.
Then Hoshoryu's had good moments, but he's at 3 and 5. Enho's at
Tsuyoshi.
1 and 7. Terutsuyoshi at 2 and 6. Ishiura has had real cool moments. He is as strong as all hell, as we already kind of knew. But yeah, 4 and 4, not doing too great. However,
Does Waka Takakage count as a small boy?
I guess kinda.
Yeah.
Wakataka Kage, Kiribayama are kind of like in there ish. I don't know.
Yeah, they're middle boys. They're medium
like
boys.
small end of normal, or maybe the big end of small.
I don't know. We'll have to do like some sort of small boy, middle boy, big boy tier list, and just
I
kind of
like this.
because I feel like the middle boy tier is going to be a lot less than like small boy, big boy, and then I think we have to do like extra big boy.
Yeah.
We'll work on this.
But-
yeah, I think I do want to know going to Abasha who my small boys are
Officially. Like,
officially.
it's
I like
official.
this.
yeah, if there's anything this podcast likes, it's labeling people. But no, the one who's doing okay so far is Kodueko at 5 and 3. And I think he might be working his way into my my list of favorites. He's had some very exciting matches. In particular, he had an awesome Kodenage over Chiyoshima on day 1. But yeah, he's just kind of fun to watch. And I think I know, I mean, like I've noticed that in individual matches before, but I think I've finally gotten to know him well enough that I can say, I officially have an opinion for once on Kodueko.
That's impressive.
Right
You
on.
formed an opinion on Kodueko with like a lot less like prestige and stuff behind him than even Daisho when he was hanging around the Sanyaku ranks for so long.
Who? Oh, right. Yeah. No, I think, I'm sorry. One other thing that I wanted to bring up. What the hell? Everybody's poor face.
Especially Akiseyama,
Oh, yes.
which we'll get to.
You have that. Oh, that's right. Because he went Kyujo, right?
Yes.
But we also had Hokuto Fuji and Tsurugisho bloodying up their faces real bad.
Tsurugisho's was
Well,
bad.
Hokuto Fuji is the Ric Flair of sumo
Yes.
wrestling. That dude
I literally
bleeds
wrote
every
that
basho.
down. I literally wrote down he is Ric Flair. God, son of a bitch. But the Tsurugisho one was the worst for me because he landed the same way that Hibikiryu did,
Mhm.
kind of like face first at the Tawara. So I cringed really hard at that. But yeah, it feels like it's been rough on faces.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ishiura has been pummeling people in the face as well, and that's certainly not helping.
Ric Flair, for those who don't follow wrestling, is very well
Nature
known
Boy.
for getting cut up and bloodied in a lot of matches, and he had like platinum blonde hair, so the blood would get in the hair, and it was just very visually appealing if you're into that sort of violence.
Yes, that's a very attractive bleed he's got going on there.
Hokuto Fuji, having been bloodied up in at least the past 20 basho, reminds us of Ric Flair because he got bloodied up as well. So,
He's taking the mantle from Yoshikaze.
yeah.
Yes.
So we do have quite a few Kyujo to update people with. There were 4 that came out before day 1 even started. So Hakuho was out, as we all knew he would be. Mac absolutely cursed Aoyama. Aoyama was 100% going to be in this tournament, and then Mac chose him to be his chump.
I'm sorry.
But he's coming back like today, right?
I've heard that he's coming back today for the past 3 days.
Yeah, I was about to say those are just rumors
but
at this
he might
point.
be he might be on the Torikumi. I could check real quick. Aoyama. Yes, he will be fighting Kiribayama on day 9. So Aoyama is back, but he is guaranteed a losing record.
Yep.
But probably just one win would get him out of consideration for going down to Jurio. 0-15 at Maegashira 3 is a good chance of going down to Jurio. So I'm not.
I
surprised
can
to see
pick a
him back.
chump. Sorry.
No kidding. I did go back and look. Like 4 out of the last 5 basho, Mac had the highest scoring chump in the series.
He just picks who he thinks going to do well, and then he swaps it.
Pretty much, yes.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
but apparently Aoyama had hurt his back in training leading up to the tournament. But yep, he is going to be back as of day 9. Ryuden is Kyujo, and it is not for an injury. It is for more Abi type scenario.
Dumbassery.
His Oyakata is holding him out of this tournament because he is breaking COVID restrictions, and especially right now in Japan and Tokyo, where they have state of emergency. Not a good look for Ryuden. So we might have to add him to the list of dumbasses. We don't know the full details on it yet. We don't know if he's going to have like a similar suspension that Abi did that will keep him out for like 3 basho. So be interesting to see what lies in store for Ryuden, and we'll probably get more details after the basho. As we mentioned, Midori Fuji pulled out before day 1. He is out due to a back injury, and we had kind of talked about in the previous basho that he was coming into that one with some disc issues in his spine or in his neck or something like that. So I can only imagine it's that same thing going on here. And so he was at Maegashira 15, and an 0-15 from there will drop him deep down into Juryo. So it might be a little bit before we see Midori Fuji back in Makuuchi. Chiyo no Kuni went Kyujo on day 4, probably still injured from the previous basho when he pulled out, but it is his left knee that got re-injured in his day 3 match. And then poor Aki Sayama. He's just a 35-year-old, poorly shaped man that just wants to do good at sumo, and people can't leave his face alone.
Leave him alone. Just leave him alone.
He broke his jaw on day 3. He has a right mandibular fracture. And then that was before his day 4 match against Ishiura, where Ishiura was just like focusing Tsupari on his face. And then when that didn't work, he just roundhouse slapped Aki Sayama and eventually threw Aki Sayama down, where I think Aki Sayama might have broken the fall with his face. And then Chiyoshoma on day 6 threw a couple of slaps at Aki Sayama. It's a miracle he lasted until day 7 with the broken jaw, but it was too much for him. He was 1-6, and so he pulled out.
This really baffles me because I've never seen a jaw so padded, and yet somehow it's still been broken. Maybe Chiyomaru, but like
because it has so much extra padding, there's not a lot of force that gets to it, so it hasn't built up strength through the years. So when there is enough force to break through it's a lot weaker against that same force.
Dr. Ryan checking in, yeah.
It's just physics. All right, and we'll do a quick check-in on Juryo. As we mentioned, Ura is the sole leader at 7-1. There's 4 guys behind him at 6-2. Enho is 1-7. He was right there. He's the top guy in Juryo. But unless he wins 7 straight matches, which there's no reason to think that's going to happen, he will not be making it back up into Makuuchi for July. Like Flarek said, Ura really cranked his elbow hard on day 2, and then a day or 2 later, he came up limping with a foot injury. He's been limping ever since. He's just not looked good at all. So Enho, he's probably going to drop pretty deep down into Juryo, so it might be a little bit while more before we see him back in the top division. Abi, coming back from his suspension, he is 4-0 in Makushita, coming off his Makushita Yusho last time. So it looks like we will more than likely be seeing Abi back in Juryo for the July tournament. And Hokuseiho, our most recent guy that started off his career 21-0. He did finish the last basho with 2 losses. He's already picked up 1 loss this tournament, but at Makushita 9, he is 3-1, and he's looking quite a bit better than the previous guy who had started his career 21-0, who was Motobayashi, who has changed his name to Oshoryu. Oshoryu's 0-1-3 at Makushita 21, so started off very hot, but huge wall for him at Makushita. And then the other guy that we are tracking for a comeback Ura style is Tomokaze. He is at Sandanme 88 this basho, and he has started off 3-1. So hopefully more steps in him making his way back up to Makuuchi. But before we go to a break, we have some more people that we need to compliment for joining our Patreon.
Hey, Devin, you have a nice caboose.
Did it suddenly get hotter in here, or did Jessica Buckland just arrive? was the best thing we ever done.
Thora Cottrell, you are pure of mind, body, and spirit.
Ooh, I like that one. And Corey with a K, you make us want to be better people.
If only I could be like Corey with a K.
Right.
All right. And with that, we will take a quick break. We will come back. We will update everybody on the GSB belt. Where does it stand since Aoyama was Kyujo day one? Drama. And then we'll let everybody know how the Champ Chump series is going and all the other fun stuff we do.
I liked your dramatic deal there.
Drama.
Drama.
Welcome back. We're going to take a look at the GSB belt, which debatably may be done. So it started out this tournament with it ended around the ample bosom of Aoyama in the last tournament. However, because he pulled out before this Basho started, we decided that the matchup, whatever matchup Takakesha had, would be for the vacant belt.
Well, it wasn't necessarily whatever matchup Takakesha had. It's that definitely Takakesha, based on how the schedule was on day one, he was going to be fighting Aoyama. And so the next guy that would have filled into that match in Aoyama's spot was Chiyo no Kuni.
It's almost like that was the next sentence I was going to say. Yeah. But no. Yeah. So we picked Takakesha because just the way that the Bansukeis are shaped and the way that the Torikumi is made, Takakesha was likely the guy Aoyama was going to face. So Aoyama did face Chiyo no Kuni, and we decided that would be for the vacant belt. Takakesha won that match and immediately lost to Tobizaru, who immediately lost to Tarano Fuji, who has held it ever since. So if Tarano Fuji wins the Yusho and has this belt around his waist at the end of this tournament, I think that would be a perfectly good retirement for this belt. And then maybe we have the Shadow Nega belt around Aoyama if he does come back and actually wrestle this tournament.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see when we are able to combine the two belts, and there it is as it should be. Because right now Aoyama's just walking around like, hey, I'm the real champ. I haven't been beaten. Nobody's put dirt on me yet.
Yeah.
He's like,
I got
around
my bosom.
Yes, my bosom. I've got the belt of Theseus right here. It's the true one.
Done.
But yeah, so I think we'll retire it if the Yusho winner wins and has the belt there.
I think if it ends in the Ozeki ranks.
Yeah, that's good enough.
But that will
Mac
have been.
is tired of the whole thing and just wants to.
Mac's like, nah, this is good.
Well, are you expecting Hakuho to actually claim this belt at this stage in the game? That's what I mean. It's like ended at Ozeki. It just makes sense.
Either way, though, we'll have a debate that will, I'm sure, consume almost our entire recap episode.
Look forward to that.
Yep, but that's where we're at for that one.
All right. Our Champ Chump prediction series right now, Fleric has Tarano Fuji. Therefore, Fleric is the man to be in the tournament. He is leading with 15 points.
I am the best.
And then it's Mac at 14, myself at 13, and Jake trailing behind at 9 with the champ of Asanoyama and the chump of Hide no Umi.
I'm
never
in
good
last
when both
place.
Of those guys have the same record.
I am in last place in both categories.
Like I said, never a good situation if both of those guys have a winning record. Because even if both of your guys were 15-0, your loser's got 0 points and negative points because he's taking home at least a June show and 1 or 2 special prizes.
Yeah.
So.
Don't have to remind me. I am aware and I am preparing for my punishment.
Actually, you don't have to prepare for the punishment.
That's right. You have to prepare.
Yeah, we have to make it.
We have to prepare stuff for you.
I have to mentally prepare for my punishment.
Yes.
You guys are the only ones who have to do work. Okay, good point.
And we did mention we wanted to kind of track like, okay, let's pretend the Ozeki or Yokozuna this tournament and see like how many Kimboshi would they give up. And I mean, they already kind of do this, that people like unofficial silver stars for people that beat an Ozeki. Unsurprisingly, Asanoyama would have given up 4 Kimboshi so far this tournament. If Asanoyama was a Yokozuna, he'd be Kyujo already.
Yeah.
But he is lost to Meisei, Wakataka Kage, Kiribayama, and Hoshoryu. And Shoudai would have given up 2, as he has lost to Wakataka Kage and Miyogiryu. Tarano Fuji hasn't lost, and Takakesha lost to Mitake Yumi, so that would not have been a Kimboshi. So right now, if these guys were Yokozuna, only 2 of them would kind of be showing like, yeah, we're Yokozuna and you can't beat us. All right, time for the lightning round. We're going to start with Mac in the bottom left-hand corner of my Zoom. Who has impressed you the most so far?
Well, we've brought him up several times already on the show, but I got to say Mitake Yumi. I think this is going to be one of those where he's just going to play spoiler. He's looking good. His schedule doesn't look like it's going to be that difficult moving forward. Having said that, I still want to see which Mitake Yumi we're going to get, but he's definitely impressed me this tournament.
All right, what about you, Jake?
Well, yeah, I think Kodo Nowaka has really. No, I don't care about Kodo Nowaka. Takayasu being in the Yusho race is always great, but that's not necessarily, out of the ordinary for him to remain in the race at least to the halfway point. But no, I'm going to go back to Kodueko. 5-3 is not a mind-blowing record or anything, but his matches have been super fun.
I gotta go with Waka Takakage. We saw it from him in the last Basho. He went 10-5 for Maegashira too, but to be able to kind of put forward that same performance in back-to-back tournaments, he's beaten 2 Ozeki, he's beaten Takayasu. Some very impressive wins for Waka Takakage. So very happy to see his quick progress. What about you, Flerick?
I'm with you, Ryan. In this world of big boys, I love my small boys, and Waka Takakage is bringing it for a small boy sumo.
Small and or middle boys.
We haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jake, who's disappointed you the most so far?
Asanoyama. That's enough said.
I mean, that's very fair. What about you, Flerick?
You went.
You're also allowed to pick
again.
Asanoyama.
I was expecting to go last again, so I was caught off guard. No, I'm no way. Yeah, well, I think I will go with Asanoyama. 4-4 is it's not what I'm looking for in the Ozeki. So
Yeah. I skipped. I was gonna go, and then like Jake took Asanoyama. I'm like, I don't know if I'm really disappointed with anybody else, but I want to talk about somebody else. But there's really nobody else. So yeah, Asanoyama.
No. For me, Hokuto Fuji. It's like
Screw you, man.
I don't like this. I'm disappointed just because for all the hype up that he does, for all the intensity that he can bring before the match, it doesn't always translate. And now he's going to go on a tear, which is just counterproductive in my opinion. It's like, no, you should be better. We know you can do better.
So you're not a fan of you're not a big fan of Hokuto Fuji like myself. You're not a member of the Hokuto Fuji fan Discord. But I mean, we kind of get over the disappointment because we're like, no, he's stocking up those losses. He's powering up for the second week. He's going to finish 9-6. So we're just kind of building up ourselves that way. And we know it's going to end well. So we're not disappointed. We just know the success is yet to come.
Way to rationalize.
Yeah. Shout out to the non-existent Hokuto Fuji fan Discord. Flerick, what has been your favorite match of the Basho so far?
Oh, that's a very good question. Let's see what I wrote down for
Mac,
that.
what has been your favorite match of the Basho so far while Flerick figures his out?
So being a fan of technique, I have to give it to day 8, Ishiura versus Terutsuyoshi. Terutsuyoshi's beautiful Sukui Nage flipping Ishiura completely over and onto the clay. Bravo.
Yeah. Ishiura's trying to do some of that flippy stuff to Terutsuyoshi, but Terutsuyoshi's too small and nimble to allow that to happen.
Small boy.
Yeah.
Small boy sumo.
All right,
I love
Flerick,
my
have you had
small
enough
boys.
time?
Yeah, I believe so. Just to clarify, which match did you say, Mac? Just have curiosity.
Ishiura versus Terutsuyoshi.
Okay, I have another Ishira match. It was day 4, Ishira versus Akisayama. That was there was some great Supari coming out there. I believe it was from Ishira.
Yeah.
There's a nice Harite to further injure Akisayama. That's kind of like it's kind of a little more cringe after looking back and knowing what's going on with his jaw. But it was also really cool to see, and there was a really cool throw at the end by Ishira. So I love that match.
What about you, Jake?
For me, honorable mention to the Shoudai Daisho WTF jumping out at the same time deal that I think deserved a rematch, but it's better that way in my memory. But no, I think Takayasu Takayumi on day 6 was awesome. It was a great match, exciting all the way through, and then a near finish to put a cherry on top.
Yeah. For me, it's Waka Takakage versus Asanoyama. Waka Takakage getting another win over an Ozeki. It was just an exciting match. It was kind of
great
back
Henka.
and forth. It was a great Henka, maybe.
And
Was it a
Henka
full
defense.
Henka?
I
It was
hard
close.
no Fuji, no
Go back and
Henka,
look.
somewhere in
Yeah.
between. But it was
Yeah.
like a great Henka and a great Henka defense. Like that was not the deciding point of that match.
No,
No.
that match went on for a while. There was a couple of good, like on the edge of the Tawara defenses from Wakataka Kage. Eventually, they both got a hold of each other's belt, and somehow Wakataka Kage came out on top of that standoff. So, was very happy to see Wakataka Kage take away that win in the exciting match. The most exciting potential matchup for me, I'm going to take the easy one off the board, and that's Takakesha versus Tarano Fuji. That's the one that could decide the U show. If Tarano Fuji wins that match, I'm going to say he wins the U show no matter what. And if Takakesha wins, I could force a playoff with Tarano Fuji as long as their records stay as they currently are. So I think that's the one to look out for. What about you, Mac?
For me, honestly, it's going to be looking at Mitake Yumi moving forward. I think I just want to see which Mitake Yumi we're going to get, and I think that's going to play a huge factor toward the end of the tournament.
Flark?
I guess I'm gonna go with when Jake mentioned the Takayasu Tarano Fuji matchup has been going into Takayasu's favor. I know I'm probably stealing from you, Jake. Sorry about that. But I'm very curious to kind of see how that one goes out. And I'm kind of, other than that, Takakesha Tarano Fuji. I want to see these big boys sumos go at each other.
Where is it at, Flark? Are you a big boy fan or are you a small boy fan?
Flair just hates the,
don't make me
the
choose.
regular
Just,
size people.
you got to make
Don't make me choose.
All right, Jake. Do you have any others, or
You
just
guys
gonna
took
stick
my
with
1 and
Takayasu?
2. You guys took my 1 and 2, the Tarano Fuji versus either Takakesha or Takayasu. But if I just as something else worth talking about, Asanoyama versus Kyujo. I guess that's going to be a tough one. Going to be pretty close, I think.
But he's not Kataban, so it's gonna be.
Also
Sorry,
true.
what did I say? Did I say
Versus-
Kyujo?
You said
Kyujo.
Kyujo, yeah.
Okay, I meant Katoban.
Okay.
Yes.
But yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Who is going to win the Basho, Jake?
Yeah, it's probably Tarano Fuji.
Yeah, should we just say all once? Tarano Fuji. It's
Yeah,
Tarano Fuji.
Tarano Fuji.
Yeah, he's the favorite at this point. I guess my heart would say Takayasu or Takakesho, but my brain definitely says Tarano Fuji.
Okay, yeah, that's the more interesting question. What does everybody's heart say for this tournament? So Jake is on the
Takayasu.
Takakesho. Between Takakesho and Tarano Fuji.
I got a 1 and I got a 1A, okay?
All right. So Jake would be behind Takakesho if it was just those two, Takakesho and Tarano Fuji. I think right now I want to see Tarano Fuji take it because I think he's the one that's most likely to be able to repeat the performance in the next tournament and become Yokozuna. What about you, Mac?
I'm right there with you. It's like I think Takakesha would be awesome, but at this point, I'm rooting for a new Yokozuna. So Tarano Fuji.
Flark?
I think I'm with you too. There would be, if Hakuho is healthy enough to show up next Basho and go all the way, and if Tarano Fuji's on Suna run, a rope run, that will be a really cool matchup.
Yeah. That's my long-term amazing booking. Like if they can get Tarano Fuji to win this U show, Tarano Fuji to be 13-1, and Hakuho being like 14-0 or 13-1. And they face off on the last day of the July tournament, and Tarano Fuji takes it, and then Hakuho retires. Like, what better story? That's like perfect storytelling. There's no way it's going to happen. Hakuho's going to pull out and retire after day 2. Tarano Fuji's going to blow it and lose this U show, and Takayasu's going to win it, and nobody's going to be happy. Yeah, absolutely nobody, Jake.
Nobody gets what they want.
Yeah. You forgot it's gonna get to day 15 on the July Hakuho versus Tarano Fuji, and Hakuho's just gonna win anyways because he's Hakuho.
Yeah, that's built us all up to just let us down.
And Tarano Fuji gets injured.
Hakuho's also going to retire.
Yes.
No, he's gonna go on for like 10 more years. 10 more years. But no, retiring. Yeah, that's funny. I like it.
All right. We have a few more people we need to send compliments out to. So, Flarek, who are we complimenting next?
All right. Alex Rodan. I want to let you know that you're strong and you take on life with a good Tachi-ai.
Robbie G, don't tell anybody, but you are our favorite listener.
Bark Burgess, you are the last thing we think about before we go to bed at night.
It's true. It's true.
Not gonna lie.
If you didn't get your compliment on this episode, check back in the recap. We just kind of had more than we expected to have.
Which thank you all.
And,
We
yeah,
just
and I
figured
think
we wouldn't do
promised,
all of them in one go.
Yeah, I think we promised compliments for patrons once per basho.
Yes.
All right, we did get an email from a Miss Anna T asking us to do a Q&A bonus episode where the fans can send us in questions and we can answer them whatever you want. It could be mining our knowledge of sumo, ask anything about us.
How do we take our coffee in the morning?
Yeah. So I think we'll plan on doing that bonus episode between this basho and the next. We have the Kakuryu bonus episode we're also going to be working on in that time. But yeah, we'll do something where we can send stuff out on Twitter and make sure people know to send us questions. But yeah, I think we'll plan on doing another version of Ask GSB podcast. So Thank you, Anna, for that suggestion. And with that being said, that is all we got for today. So if you enjoyed this podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
GrandSumoBreakdown.wordpress.com. Also search for us on Patreon. We have multiple tiers. Thank you so much for your donations.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
All right, and that is all we have for this. We will see you a little bit sooner than usual for our recap episode. We got some scheduling things that we need to record that right away. So you're going to get our instant thoughts on the recap. And so we will see you very soon. Or you'll see us. We're the ones on video, not you.
Yeah, I was about to say, they'll see us, really.
Yeah, except for you, Mark Burgess. We're going to
think about you
before we go to bed.
I don't know. Maybe if we make enough money off Patreon, we can upgrade so that we can watch people as they listen.
There we go.
GSB is watching you.
Hack into like Microsoft and all that stuff, and we can get it to everybody's webcams and just watch them.
Honestly, I don't think it really even would take all that much hacking. Every app on your phone allows everyone to watch you at any moment.
Yeah,
turns out.
Fair enough. So yeah, GSB, we're watching you.
Should we roll the credits, I guess?
Yeah,
roll credits.
Probably should have done it about a minute ago.
Hit the drums.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown. Until next time,
Throw your salt high.
and keep moving forward.